Welcome back to another AHCP webinar, and thanks for taking time out of your day to invest in yourself. Preparations here for AEP and OEP are already at a feverish pace. I assume the same goes for you as well. And if you want to really maximize your opportunities this year, whether it's AEP or OEP or both, you have to employ the numerous tools we consistently make available to you. Of course, I'm referring to our technology and your own website, social media, automated marketing, and online quoting and enrollment. Getting in front of your customers in a virtual environment and closing the sale takes preparation, it takes practice, and certainly a lot of effort. We want to help you outsmart your peers in this realm. With us today is Aaron Cassaver with AgentMethods. AgentMethods is our partner who has been delivering personalized insurance agency websites for our agents. These are so easy to customize that anyone can do it. Even I've been able to build one. But these websites are only the start. You need to execute on the strategies that Aaron is going to present today. Aaron, you're there. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Glad to be here.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to turn this over to you now.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. It is fantastic to be here. I really appreciate you bringing me in today. I cannot understate how great it is to work with AHCP and Steve. This is a group that's working for you. I see them as somebody who's always looking for the win-win really, where everybody benefits. And so it's good for me to be a part of that. So I've got good news, bad news today. The bad news is that what I'm going to show you, what we're going to talk about today, this stuff is not optional. It's not optional. This is not, you can decide if you want to do it or not. These are things that you really must do this year for AEP. And I will show you why. We have data to support this. It's not just a statement I'm making, but this is something that we know must be done. That's the bad news. So it's a little bit of work. The good news is it's not hard to do. This is not overly complicated. It's just a matter of kind of putting in the effort to get everything in place. So it can be done. I'll go through it. I'll even give you a checklist we can walk through. So that's good news, bad news. Now, because this is important, let's all just commit. The next 30 minutes, we're going to focus. We're going to focus on growing your sales, growing your business. Let's make this time valuable because we're all super busy. You're taking your time away from other things. And so take a second, just close out distractions. If you've got email open, close your email. If you've got your phone, put it away. And maybe even grab a pen and paper so you can make some notes, jot down some ideas, some questions, make a to-do list so that you are really making this time valuable because we're all investing in it. So let's get the most out of it. Now, a couple more housekeeping things. The first one is that I'm very happy to say I have a home office. Kids are in school. My wife's at her office. The first time in a year and a half, it's quiet here, which is great. However, my dog is sleeping in the room and there's construction next door. And so there's a very good chance at some point he will wake up and start barking. I'd say 98% chance of that happening. So if it happens, don't be alarmed. It's just my coworker disrupting things. The second is I love interaction. It's really good to have this be a two-way conversation. I do get tunnel vision. I've learned this about myself. This is stuff I'm really engaged in. I care a lot about. And so I'm not always watching the chat. So if you have a question, by all means, if you have a thought, by all means, go over to chat, type it in. And if I don't get to it right away, it's not personal. I'm not blowing you off. I'm not avoiding the question. We'll get to it at the end, if not during the conversation. And in fact, talking about chat, do me a favor. Let's just go over to the chat and just do a quick hello. Let's warm up the chat. Say hi. Maybe let us know where you're in from. I'll go and do it as well. Hello from Seattle. Awesome. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you here. It's good that we're all joining virtually. We will use the chat again in just a minute. So diving in. I'm not going to do a long life story or a bio, or we're not going to go into that boring personal background. There's really two things I want to say, about this slide. The first is, this is me. That's a picture of me. That's what I look like. I got some sideburns. If we are ever at the same place, if we're ever at a conference, if we're ever somewhere, it's a grocery store, and we happen to be in the same room, please, please come say hi. Come say hello. It'd be such an honor to see you in person. It would thrill me. I am an introvert, and so I'll probably be kind of quietly hiding. And so take the initiative if you can. I would really appreciate that. It's always good to make a connection in person as opposed to over Zoom. That's my picture. The second thing about this is related to the introvert stuff. I'm a techie. I did happen to get an insurance license in 2008. So I went out and got a license. And that means two things. The first one is that my mom comes to me for tech support questions. She calls me up for help with her computer and her email and phone and this stuff. I love my mom, love talking to her, but I want to talk to her about the grandkids and other things. So I talked her into going out and buying an Apple. And I'm not going to go into the Apple versus PC debate. They're both great. But what I wanted from the Apple was the Genius Bar, where there was somebody out there that my mom could go to besides me to ask questions. And it's been fantastic. It has gotten that out of the way of our relationship. My dad comes to me with insurance questions. And I kid you not, Thanksgiving last year, at the dinner table, he pulls out a letter he got from an insurance company about a rate change. And he wanted to go over it with me at Thanksgiving dinner. I love him. It's good that he cares about this stuff. And I just said, Dad, we got to find you. You need to have an agent. You have to call your agent. This is what agents are here for. And so I made sure he was connected with somebody local to him, a good independent agent who he can go to with these questions. And that, if nothing else, that makes me such a believer in what you all do, because, my dad needs you. There are people, lots of people in the world who are sitting here wondering these things, and they're asking whoever they can. And so the value that you all bring, I truly believe in. As somebody who had a license and has seen Thanksgiving dinner turn to conversations about rate changes, thank you all for helping my dad. Okay, our agenda today, we're going to go over a couple things. There's a lot in the world that's changing. That's not a secret. I think we are all very aware of the big changes in the universe that we're addressing. But this is impacting a lot of things. Our customers' needs are changing. We're going to talk about how they're changing and how we can meet them. The competitive landscape is changing, and this may be changing more and faster than you might realize, because a lot of it's happening kind of outside of our periphery. And so we'll talk about what those changes are, what that means to us, and how we address them. I'll go through a simple plan, simple updates to your website. This is where the checklist comes in. Literally, it's a checklist. We'll go through it. Ways to use your online presence to address your customers' needs, to stay ahead of the competition and make more sales, not more people. And then we'll go into ways to make AEP more efficient so that you're less busy, less crazy, more organized, with more time to help people because of automation. And so we'll go through ways you can save some time and help more clients through automation. So that's the agenda. But before we dive in, I have a question for everybody. And the question is, how did AEP go last year? How was last year's AEP? Maybe just go over to the chat and type in a thought. Was it harder? Was it weirder? Sales go up? Yeah, it was your first AEP. That's quite an AEP to start to launch things on. In a sense, it was great because it was such a transition that a lot of people were just kind of trying out new things. Certainly, online, less driving. Definitely last year, that was a year of adapting, a year of change. Some things went well. It was nice to spend less time in the car. You could make more appointments in a day. Other things were hard because you had to adapt to a new sales methodology. So yeah, overwhelming from the time demanded. That is, I think that summarizes AEP overall. It's a short period of time to do a lot. And so, the demands on your time are tremendous. And if you can be efficient with that time, it can really be helpful. So overall, we did a survey. We saw 45% of agents saw their sales increase last year, 45%. And so what this means, the subtext is that 55% didn't see a sales increase. So last year, the majority of agents did not see their sales go up. The majority of agents, I would say that, wasn't a good AEP. There were more people over 65. There are more customers. The market's growing. There are more people getting into the market. So there's some factors there. But overall, there was a lot of change, and a lot of change that had an impact that decreased sales for the majority of agents. Now, it's a slight majority, but still a majority. This is not what I want. This is not what AHCP wants. This is not what you want. We want to flip this around, and we want everybody to see their sales increase this year. And what I think happened when I look at this is that we, in the change, we were not prepared. We did not adapt fast enough to address the new world we were selling in. And no blame for that, because it was, absolutely crazy. But now we have a chance to be prepared. Now we have a chance to adapt. And so this year, we don't want this to be the case again. We want to make sure that we're all seeing our sales go up. Everybody who wants to sell more should be able to sell more. It's a huge market. There's plenty of customers out there. So change last year, you might be thinking, and I've heard this, that, well, we're kind of getting back to normal. And we are in normal. We're not getting back to normal. This study, this comes from something called Think with Google. Google has a research and think tank. And this is from this summer. This is recent. They went out and looked at people's use of technology and internet, and they saw that 70% of seniors say they'll spend the same or more time online once they're no longer concerned about the pandemic. So what that tells us is that most of our customers are not going to go back to the old way. They're like, you know what? This is cool. This works out well. I don't have to go drive around. I don't have to go have people meet with me. I can do it all online. I've seen some amazing statistics about grocery shopping, where people were really not quick to adopt online grocery shopping. But once they did it, they're like, you know what? This is great. There's no pushing in the aisles, kind of having to find things. There's no waiting in a long checkout line. There's no like getting my car dinged in the parking lot. I just go online, make a few clicks, and groceries show up. And the same thing is happening kind of everywhere. People are shifting to using things online, shifting to using technology, and they're saying, hey, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. So we're going to see 2021, 2022, and beyond more like 2020 than the years before that. The change is here. The change has happened, and we're not going back. So a few more things to ponder. And this is amazing to me, this detail. Somebody retiring today was 36 when the first commercial browser was launched. 36. They were in their 30s, and they were 42. They were 42 when Google launched. And there's a belief, I don't want to say myth, there's a belief that seniors are less tech savvy than the overall population. And that used to be true 10, 20 years ago. It's not true today. And our customers are, they're tech savvy. They use the internet. They've used it for a long time in their careers, in their relationships. And when they retire today, this is not something that, is foreign to them. It's something that's very familiar to them. Some more data from Google, Think with Google. So seniors online, what do? This is a breakdown of the big things they do. So 91% of them stay in touch with friends and family. And that makes sense, right? They're on Facebook, they're looking at, photos of grandkids or vacations, or just kind of keeping in touch with people, maybe email, other social networks. 87% organize their finances. So this is banking. This is kind of managing their retirement plans, stuff like that. Finances online, doing online banking, doing, managing your investments or your retirement online. That's technical stuff. It's also stuff that requires a high level of trust and confidence in their ability to not screw it up. If you think there's a risk that you're going to screw something up, you don't mess with your money. You don't mess with it. So people are going online to manage their finances. That tells us they're pretty confident in their abilities online. And then about 3/4 are using it to improve health and wellness. And so this might be researching things or scheduling appointments with doctors. We've seen telemedicine. Certainly that's increased a lot in the last year. And you can think about insurance sitting kind of in this overlap of finance and health and wellness. And so you can imagine, somewhere between 70, 80%, 73 to 87% of our customers, people over 65, are going online to do things that are relevant to what we sell. So it's the majority, and it's becoming everybody. It really comes down to this. Your customers go online for everything now. This is the web. This is what they use it for. Shopping, interacting with friends and family. If they have a question, if they're like, oh, what was that? They go to Google. Certainly, if they have a question about insurance, they go online. 81% of consumer purchases begin online today. 81%. It doesn't mean they happen online, but they begin online. And so when somebody thinks about buying something, or making a decision between a couple options, or even just if they need something, the first place they go to kind of get information to help them decide how to proceed is the web. And this tends higher. So 81%, it tends higher when the customer is less informed about something. So if you're going to buy light bulbs or toilet paper, you're probably not going to Google and doing a bunch of research. You just go buy it. But if it's something kind of complicated, you're not an expert in, that you don't know a lot about, you start by going online and doing some research. And so this is where, more and more our customers begin their process. Now, it's true with interactions too. When somebody wants to contact you, they don't go to the phone book, they Google you. When somebody refers you to a friend or family, they don't pass out your business cards. They just say, oh, call Aaron, and they give your name and expect that friend or family to go and Google you or search for you. Maybe they're super nice and they'll go do the search themselves and send a link. But more and more of these transactions is sort of that drive customers to us before we even talk to them are happening online. So, okay, launch a great website. Done. We can take care of that. Hopefully it's done. If not, let's talk. But there is a problem. Along with their behavior, their expectations have changed as well. So what consumers expect, they expect more sophistication in their online experience, and certainly a higher level of online service. So independent agents, all about good service, all about that one-to-one service. And that is, when I talk to agents, what's the thing that's the most important that you provide to your customers? It's service, great service. We know that's true. 82% of customers say a response in 10 minutes is important and part of good service. So when somebody comes to your website, they want to have a 10-minute response. They don't want to wait. And we know this is true with leads. If you get a new lead, you follow up right away. It's true with customers too. If a customer needs help on something and sends a message to you through your website, if it's AEP and they come to you and say, hey, I need to review my plans, you got 10 minutes to get back to them, preferably right away. We can't wait a day. We can't wait. We have to solve their problems right away. That is what they expect with good service. And if we provide ourselves in offering good service, we have to deliver that. Otherwise, they're going to go back to Google and search and search and search and find somebody else who they think can help them. So expectations have changed. Now, one more twist in the puzzle before we get into the what to do. Competition, and this is in red because this is danger. Competition has changed and is ready to help your customers. And by help your customers, I mean steal your customers away from you. Your competition is ready and on the go. And I don't mean the other agents in the room. That's not what I mean. I mean the innovation that we're seeing in technology that we're seeing poured into these online brokers. I'm going to name some names. I'm not picking on them particularly. Policy Genius, they've raised tons of money to go and try to sell direct to consumer online. GoHealth, they went public last year. They've got a huge call center, websites. They're trying to go direct to consumers. Even Joe Namath, we know about Joe Namath. They're all trying to put you out of business. That's what they want, is to cut all of us out of the equation. And that's not cool. We don't like that. Now, not liking it's not enough, because they have tools, they have sophistication, and they have a lot of money. This is a breakdown. And sorry, this is kind of a busy picture, but you can see it's a graph of years starting in 2012 and going to 2021. And it shows the number of deals and investments in insure tech startups by year. And so last year, 2020, we saw $7.1 billion with a B, billion dollars go into the bank accounts of insure tech startups whose goal is to put us out of business. This year, we're on track to see $10 billion. This is absolutely insane. $10 billion with the goal of going and cutting out us agents, cutting us out from our customers because they want to see the return on their investment. That's a lot of money. And they're using it to try to get to our customers before we do, and to try to serve them in a way that we can't. So we might not see this yet, but we see a little bit of it. And it's absolutely happening. It's absolutely real. And we absolutely cannot ignore it. This comes from GoHealth's annual report, the most recent one. It's kind of a complicated sentence. It's, I think an English teacher would have made them break it up, but I'll read it anyway. Carriers' historic reliance on antiquated traditional field agent-driven sales process lacking in transparency, choice, and convenience, and ripe for disruption by digitally enabled and technology-driven marketplaces like our platform. That comes from their list of opportunities. So in their report, they had to say, what are their opportunities? They're saying antiquated agents are ripe for disruption by us. They think that this is their key to success. That's what they're saying. That's what they're going to telling investors why you should buy their stock right now. We're going to prove them wrong, because all the money in the world cannot replace the value of human relationships. It can't be done. Money is not going to replace that. We're going to prove them wrong, but we have to make sure that we keep our customers engaged with us, that we get to them before the insurtechs do, because that's how we win. It's this battle. The independent agent, that's the bird. We call our bird Cluck Norris. Cluck Norris is battling the evil insurtech. Kind of comical, but it's happening. And you, of course, are the agent, the local independent agent. You take the time to understand your clients. You take the time to provide service. You take the time to make connections. You take the time to talk to my dad, so I don't have to talk to him about his questions at Thanksgiving dinner. Hugely valuable. But the problem is that we have to bridge the gap between people going online and asking questions and all of the independent agents of the world. We have to make sure that when a customer goes online to ask a question, to do some research, they end up engaging with an agent, an independent agent, and not with some anonymous insurtech startup. 81% of consumer purchases begin online. If we don't meet them there, we will miss them and we will lose the battle. And so you put this all together. And I know this is kind of a long setup, but you put this all together and you can see why change is not an option. I'm sorry, not changing is not an option. Not changing is not an option because our customers are changing, their behavior has changed, our competition is changing, and we have to make sure that we're there to meet our customers' needs and beat the competition. Yeah, so, all right. I'm sorry to be doom and gloom. There is a plan. I do know we can win this battle, and that's where the plan for success comes in. That's where our 2021 AEP plan for success comes in. We've got a couple weeks to put this in place, so let's do it. First one, update your website. I will go through the list of things to do. We'll walk through this list, changes that you should make to your website so that you're ready in October. Second one is automation. And so we'll talk about ways to use automation to free up your time so you can help more people, make more sales, and better serve your customers. And then, of course, having a plan for after AEP. So after December 7th comes around, catch up on some sleep, have some good holidays, celebrate the new year, and then be ready to go next year to keep your sales strong. And then also set yourself up for next AEP so that you're maintaining the momentum you're going to build. All right, the checklist. And I will go through these things. We're gonna walk through them quickly, and then we'll leave the presentation, go to a browser, and we'll see them all in action. So this is your checklist of things you should update on your website. First one is making sure that when people come to your homepage, they see a clear AEP related headline and call to action. So it's really clear what to do. It shouldn't be buried somewhere. It should be front and center so that right away they can get engaged. And then you want to have your photo, your image be relevant. So if you sell to multiple markets, if you do under 65 and over 65, if you might do term to young families, term life, and then also Medicare products. This is the time to take the young families off your homepage and put pictures of seniors up so that people see customers like themselves. Linking to online quoting, enrollment. I'll show you on my site. I have some Quotit quote engines that are right there on my site. And so look at the tools you've got available and you make sure that they're linked so that those customers who want to go self-service or want to review prices and kind of get to that level before they talk to you can. Online scheduling. I think this is a great solution to that 10-minute response time. If people can go to your site and schedule an appointment with you, if they can know they're on your calendar, they feel like their needs are met, they won't go somewhere else. They're just going to say, okay, great, Tuesday at 10, we're set. I'll talk to you then. So online scheduling is a really nice way to bridge the gap between offline and online. You want to round your site out with good educational content because people are going to have questions and they want to dive deeper than the surface. And so they should be able to find that from you instead of somewhere else. And this last one, seminar registration pages. If you're doing events, if you're doing seminars, maybe at a community center or a library, or if you're doing them virtually via Zoom or other online tools, we want to put those registration pages on your site. And I'll show you again on mine, so that people can go through your site, see everything else, and then reserve their spot. So let's leave the presentation for a second. We're going to go over to my demo site, seattleinsurancepartners.com. It's live on the web, so please feel free to go check it out. You can see these things, you can poke at them, see how I've set up on my site. This is my AgentMethods site. But just kind of going through. So clear AEP headline and call to action. You can see front and center, Medicare annual enrollment is here. Schedule your personalized annual plan review now. So I've taken away the messages about, term or, just here for your insurance needs, the kind of the general messaging. And I've gotten really specific. about what's happening right now, because this is the thing that we want to address. I've changed the photo. I love this picture. It's this couple out just on a scooter having a great day. I hope my retirement is like this. And so the pictures, kind of things that your customers are going to relate to, and they're going to look at that and smile. And then I have these two calls to action, these two buttons: schedule a review and review plans and enroll online. And I'm normally a fan of having one call to action. You have one thing to do. But today I've got two. And the reason for that is there's two paths that people might want to take. There's those who are, looking for help, looking for, communication with somebody. They're going to want to schedule a review. And there's like the analytical, the engineering data types. They want to go get some data. They want to look at prices and options and see if they can do it themselves. And so we're letting them decide, choose your own adventure. And both lead to, Medicare review, but it's just how the customer wants to do it. We're making sure we're meeting their needs. So I'll show you review plans. If I click on that, this is going to pull up, in this case, I've got one of the Quotit ePro embedded on my site. And so, if you've used Quotit before, you've probably seen this. We go and put in our zip code, and then right away we can start to see plans right here on my site. Super fast, super easy, great technology. Big fan of Quotit. The other option, schedule an insurance review. This opens up our calendaring system. We call it Great APE. We'll talk more about it. Great AEP. And it's an online calendaring system built for Medicare sales. And so it integrates with my calendar. And so I go and, I keep the day as I'm working. I keep, if I'm going to a birthday party or I'm going to the gym or lunch with a friend, I block that time off and then we take it off of the calendar. You can see, this begins mid-October. October 15th is actually already booked solid, so that doesn't even show on my calendar anymore. So people can come here and we'll just say maybe Wednesday the 20th, 2 p.m. I'll go put in my name, Aaron. Test. Phone number. You can choose how to meet. So I've got, I will call you or meet at Starbucks. So you can put in your office, or you can say, I'll come to you. You can also integrate in with online meeting tools. So if you use Zoom or Microsoft Teams or another online meeting tool, we can create a secure, unique meeting link for each meeting so that your customers know they're not going to get barged on by next appointment, and have that all set up. So we'll just say, I will call you. I'm going to leave questions and comments blank for now and confirm appointment. And so what we do now with our scheduling is we take you to an online e-signed scope of appointment form. And this is how CMS intended these to be done originally. They said, we want to have these done at the time of scheduling, but they realized it's kind of hard to do that sometimes. And so they've let that slide to the time of meeting. It's really nice to have this done right away. When people go book the appointment, we save the e-signed scope. You can download it as a PDF. You can submit it with your applications. You've got a record of it. And you don't have to worry about that when you start the call, because it's already done. So you don't have to sort of stop and say, hold on, I got to text you this thing, go follow this link and sign this form, because it's already done. Now, if you have a scope of appointment form that you love, awesome. You can keep using it. You can turn this off. But it's also really easy to use this. It's included in our scheduling system. You can just turn it on and capture these. So the other thing I've got is schedule an appointment is up here. And this goes to a more general. So I have different types of meetings during the year. Turning 65, welcome to Medicare. Somebody who's new to this, they can go schedule an appointment. Somebody who has a question, I want to just review something, they can schedule a review. Of course, here's the 2022 Medicare plan review. That's the AEP stuff. So you can have a list of other types of events, right here on your site, people can choose from. I mentioned good educational content. I'm not going to go through all of that on my site, but you can just see lots of information about Medicare is available here. All the content on my site comes from the AgentMethods content library. So if you're an AgentMethods customer, you can go in and just add this content directly to your site and click. If you're not, you have to go write it yourself or talk to us about how we can help. But having good content that goes beyond just a list of things you sell is really key to showing people that you're invested in them and that you're working to educate them. And then I mentioned the seminar registration pages. And so I'll just show you this upcoming seminars page on my site. So this is a page, it's a landing page. And landing pages are different in that they don't have the top navigation. And so I can send people here in email. If I do an email out, join me in my educational seminar. If I have a poster, I can say to reserve your spot, go to website.com/seminars. And people won't get distracted with navigation, kind of going and reading stuff. They're going to do the one thing we want them to do, which is fill out this form. So you can see we're capturing, name, phone, email, number of people. So if it's them and their spouse. And then we have a drop down where they can choose a location. Now, I'm not really doing this. This would be quite a busy 6 days, but I know that some of you do. Some of you are really hitting it out of the park with these seminars, going to different locations. And so people can go and choose, well, I'm in Tacoma, so I'll reserve that spot. And so you can create a seminar registration page on your site. So you can see how, this is a pretty simple list of changes, but it transforms my site from being just kind of generic to being really focused for somebody who's looking for help during AEP. They can schedule a call, they can start to look at plans, they can register for an event, a seminar, they can read some content to get the questions answered. And then it also just kind of feels like I'm aligned with what they care about right now. All right, again, here's the checklist. So the second thing is automation. And the goal here is to free up your time so that you can spend your time doing the thing that's most valuable, which is talking to customers or catching up on sleep. And the way that we do this is through automating all of the scheduling that goes on. So we send out invitations to your customers and contacts about meeting with you. We link that to our online scheduling where they can go pick an appointment, to a digital scope of appointment where they sign the scope of appointment. And then we have reminders that make sure that they show up, that if they have to change their appointment time, because something came up, they do that without a bunch of back and forth, with the goal of taking all this off of your plate so that you can just focus on talking to people. A little more detail. So this again is called Great APE. And I say, if people say you spelled APE wrong, and I say you don't sell Medicare products, do you? Great AEP. You start by taking the customers that you want to talk to. So these might be Medicare Advantage customers or Part D customers, or even if you talk to supplement customers during AEP, you go and you take that list and you put it into Great APE. And then we send out a series of emails and text messages starting in October, letting them know that it's time to meet with you and why it's important, so that they're aware and they can take action. So email is awesome. I am very, very, a very, very big fan of email. Email marketing is a super powerful channel. Text messaging, SMSs are a superpower. And so, the data here, SMS, 98% open rate and 90-second response time. And we all know this, right? You get a text message, your phone buzzes, you pick it up and you look at it right away. You don't wait until, after lunch, you just look at it right away. With that great power comes great responsibility. And so text messaging is super, super powerful, but we want to be very careful about it. We don't want to overdo it. People will get upset. There's also a lot of regulations. CMS has regulations, the FCC has regulations. And so, we manage that. We take care of the opt-outs, unsubscribes. We follow those rules about time of day you can deliver. The numbers have to be registered with the FTC so that they know, what you're using the phone number for, what the purpose of the meeting is. Even little things like, because this is used for scheduling, if there's no link to schedule, we're in violation of the FTC because that's what we registered these things for. And so we make sure that all those rules are being followed. Same thing with email. The Can Spam Act, we have unsubscribes and your physical location and that stuff. So then your customers get this and they follow the link and they schedule an appointment. And you saw on my site what it looks like. They pick a time, and that saves you from having to reach out. Some people have been hiring somebody just to go and do scheduling for them during AEP, and this will take care of all of that for you. And the result of that is, you have a synchronized, well-organized calendar that is an efficient use of your time, so that you show up in October ready to go with your appointments scheduled. Now, we launched this last year. So last year was the first year that Great Ape was available. And I knew this was going to work because we know that automating outreach and scheduling is a simpler process for everybody. But it worked way better, far surpassed my expectation. And there were agents that had their entire AEP scheduled by October 15th, and all their customers on their books. And in fact, there were several agents who got more than 100% of their customers to book. And that sounds impossible, right? What happened is they put in a list of their customers. They turned on Great Ape. We reached out to them. We scheduled them all. And then those customers forwarded on the emails to their friends and family. And they said, hey, here's a link to go talk to my agent. He's fantastic. Make sure you book an appointment with him during AEP. And so it became a referral marketing tool. We did not expect this, but it became a marketing tool that actually brought in new prospects during AEP through referrals, which is such an awesome bonus. So automation, and then it went beyond that. All right, last thing is a plan for after AEP. And there's a couple of things here. The first is, building relationships and maintaining relationships. And we know that without a relationship, without a sense of trust and connection, it's really hard to sell. So that's foundational, but it also has to be maintained. And we all have a bad habit of being really busy talking to customers, and then it goes a year before we talk to them again. And that gives us an entire year for the customer to forget about us, or for somebody else to get in there and build a relationship. Lots of ways we can lose the customer. And so we want to make sure that we're staying in touch with customers throughout the entire year. That we're always investing in that relationship. That we're always working to maintain it. Second is we want to stay relevant and top of mind. So if they ever have a question, if there's ever a referral opportunity, that your name is the first name that pops up. And we have to just kind of stay in front of people to do that. And we want to do this in a way that's positive, that feels good to your customers and feels like you're adding value. And then the third one is cross-marketing. And we know the best agents out there do this naturally. Cross-marketing isn't just good for you, it's a value add to your clients. When you educate them about what's available to them, they might not know about these products, or they might have risks that could really be solved, exposure that could be resolved through products that you offer. And so cross-marketing, it's a sales tool, but it's also customer education and customer support. And so we want to make sure we have a plan for all of these. So let me walk through the tools that we've got available to help you with your plan after AEP. So The first one is email campaigns. And we think about email campaigns really as a cross-marketing platform. This is a way to get new opportunities from your existing customers. The way it works is really simple. We have a library of pre-built campaigns across all kinds of products. You go and choose the ones you want. So, certainly there's a lot about AEP, a lot about Medicare you can send out right now. But then in January, you might switch to dental and vision or critical illness or final expense and start to sell those other products to your customer base. So you choose the campaign. We create a landing page, which is the call to action for that campaign. And that gets automatically created, personalized, and added to your site. And then you schedule. So you can work 3 months in advance, and you go and you basically, say what you want to go out in September, October, November, click go, takes about an hour to do, and then you can forget about it, and the rest runs automatically. You get a weekly report of updates. We handle, of course, personalizing, sending, tracking. We manage opens, unsubscribes, bounces, and then any leads, we notify you in real time about this. Because our focus is on independent agents, and we have this pre-built campaign library that works, the results that we see are phenomenal on this. When we look at the average result of insurance emails, we compare to insurance emails sent through services like Constant Contact, which is a popular email service. They publish data on the results. We see that our customers get 3 times the clicks as customers using Constant Contact to send insurance email. And we see 2 times or 2.1 times the clicks of campaigns sent through MailChimp. So we're beating by a factor of 2 to 3x MailChimp to Constant Contact in results. The next is outbound marketing. And this is where we really work on this retention, staying in front of customers so that renewals keep coming and referrals keep coming. And we know that loyal customers are more likely to buy additional things from you, they're more likely to refer from you. And so we want to make sure that we're investing in building loyalty with your customer base. So what we do, we post to your blog every week. So once a week, we go and we post content that's engaging, educational, informative. It's not just about insurance. It's about the kinds of things your customers are going to respond to so that they have a reason to come to your site and read from you. We also share this out in your newsletter and on social media. So your blog content drives people back to your site. We do daily posts every business day to Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So every business day, we send a post out to social media. The goal here is not to push sales. This is not where we're doing that. The goal here is to get yourself into the conversation where your customers already are and provide them with stuff they're going to find they care about. So sharing information that's useful. I promise he'd bark. There he is. Information that your audience cares about is useful, and the kinds of things that they want to see in those channels. So we also track the engagement. So when we share it to social media, we monitor what your customer base engages with. And our system starts to learn the kinds of content that gets the best response, which we then use to do a monthly newsletter. So once a month, without lifting a finger, we send a newsletter out to your customers. And that newsletter includes updates that you want to provide if you want to, blog content that was added to your site, and then based on your social media interaction, based on how your customers interact with your content, we customize what goes in the newsletter. And the result of this is a newsletter that's really personalized around the things that your audience cares about. It gets great open rates. People open it, they read it, they find it useful, and it all comes from you. It's got your name, your brand, and it just reminds them of the value that you provide. So the results of all of this. So we're seeing agents that are using our websites, our scheduling system, our email marketing, and our social media, other services. What we're seeing is agents, and this is the best thing of all, because our goal is to help you increase sales. Agents using AgentMethods spend on average 47% less time on marketing. So the time, imagine if you could cut the time you spend on marketing in half. So right away, a bunch of free time you can use for other things. They get 60% more referrals. Referrals are gold. And this is where every successful agent long-term builds their business through referrals. So imagine if you could increase that by 60%. They do 78% more cross-selling, having customers buying multiple policies from them. So again, think about that. What would that look like to you? And that question about how did last year go? They were 162% more likely to have had their sales increase in the past year. And it makes sense because they're automating a lot. They are engaging with their customers in multiple channels. They're using technology to reach out to people. They're building relationships. They're staying in front of their customers in a value-added way. And they have a great online presence where people can go to engage with them when the time is right. So that's really what matters right there. Now, we do have a special offer. If you're looking at this, if you're an AgentMethods customer right now, and I see some familiar names here, and you're thinking, okay, I want to add the scheduling system grade APE, or I want to add the newsletters and social media, or if you are new to AgentMethods, either way, we should talk. And so if you're looking at this and thinking, okay, I want to make this AEP the best year I can. I want to make this year better than last year. If you're thinking, I want to compete with InsurTech and I want to win. I want to see my sales grow. Let's connect and let's talk about how we can help you do it. And we'll go through our services. We'll go through how it might work for you. And we will go through the AHCP discount and talk to you how you can save some on our services. And so what you should do, in fact, do this right now because time is short. Our schedule, all of our schedules are busy. Certainly our team is very busy right now. We're helping a lot of agents. You want to make sure you get a time locked in. Go to agentmethods.com. I circled the button. There's that schedule a live demo. We do this too, just like I said, you should. Go to our website, click on that button. It will take you to a form, put in information, and you can book a time right there to talk to us. So take a second and go do that. If you have questions, if this seems like something you're interested in doing, if you want to make this AEP the best one possible, invest that time with us and we'll show you how we can help. So with that, I have been keeping an eye on the questions. I think I did a better job today than I usually do. Kind of making sure I talk about things as they go. We're running a little long, but I want to make sure if there's any more questions out there that, that we make sure they're answered. So if you have a question, take a second and you can go over to chat, type it in. I will keep an eye on that, make sure we address it. I recommend, though, the best way to get questions answered is to go to agentmethods.com, schedule a demo. Let's spend a little time and we can really kind of dive into what matters to you. All right, with that, I think I'm coming up on my time. Steve, is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
I think the information you shared today is immensely invaluable. We've got a lot of agents taking advantage of this, and it really makes a huge difference in their productivity every year. So thank you so much for sharing this with us. I do want to make sure everybody knows that we'll make available this recording available to everybody afterwards. So we'll send it out to you in an email once we get it all put together, and we'll send out that link for you.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Steve, for having me here today. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for
Aaron,
attending. It's great to be here, and I look forward to seeing you all in person someday soon.
Someday soon. Thanks, everybody.